Okay, okay.
Everyone, I hope that you are generally physically.
Good morning, everyone. Let us discuss our house rule for today's event as we wait for the others to arrive and for our audiences via online to join.
For our audiences via online, keep your microphone muted at all times. Participants with microphones turned on should be removed from the virtual seminar room.
And for our audience here in the University Hall, please ensure to still follow our health protocols and safety protocols and observe social distancing. Maaari lamang po na panatilihin natin ang ating distance at patuloy po natin ito ang ating.
During the program, only the host and those listed in the program should speak. And for online audiences, all other concerns shall be communicated through the chat. Rest assured that the assigned moderators shall attend to them.
Make sure that everything is in order when you participate in the opening and closing prayer. After the closing prayer, for our audiences via online, please remain logged in for the photo capturing and documentation.
Wait for closing pleasantries and the signal from the moderators before logging off from the virtual seminar room. And to our audiences face-to-face here in the University Hall, let us observe social distancing while we
Post-evaluation and attendance shall be given once we finish the program. So let us all sit back and relax as we enjoy this entire.
Be informed that this event will be recorded and will be live streaming. Keep in mind that this endeavor is for the glory of our God.
A warm welcome to each and every one of you that have joined us today. It is an honor to have you here, and we truly appreciate that you all made time for this day.
Indeed, Miss Christine, we've been waiting for this day to finally arrive, and here we are.
Yes, Miss Mary, I just know that this will be a day to remember. But before we proceed, we would like to give a few reminders once again for our dear audience. During the program, only the host and those listed in the program should speak. And for our online audience, all other concerns shall be communicated through the chat feature. Rest assured that the assigned moderators will attend to them.
Well, partner, let's not keep our dear attendees and participants waiting. And it seems like everyone is here and well prepared. formally start our program, let us all rise for our opening prayer to be led by the minister of the gospel, Brother Michael Chicote. Let us all stand up for the opening prayer.
Manalangin po tayo. Ama na aming Diyos, Panginoon naming makapangyarihan ka po sa lahat. Puspos ka po, Ama, ng awa at dakila po ang iyong pagmamahal para sa amin. Salamat po, pinagkakalooban pa rin kami ng buhay. Salamat, iningatan mo po ang bawat isa. At ngayon narito kami sa ganitong pagkakataon, lalo po sa panig ng mga mag-aaral, na muling tatanggap ng mga kaalaman na patuloy na magagamit sa buhay na ito at maging sa kanilang pamamalagi po sa pamantasan. O Panginoon, samahan mo po ang aming isasagawang aktibidad. Ikaw po ang laging gumabay sa aming mga paggawa, sa mga mangunguna at sa kakasangkapanin mo po, Ama, upang maghahatid ng mga kaalaman sa mga dadalo sa umagang ito. Sana, Panginoong Diyos, bigyan sila ng bisa at patuloy pakinabangan namin ang ganitong mga gawain. O Ama, mamalagi nawa kaming matibay na nakaugnay po sa iyong pamamahala sa kapatid na Eduardo Manalo, na ang lahat ng aming ginagawa sa pamantasan, maayon lamang po sa lahat ng iyong kalooban. Sumasampalataya po kami, Panginoong Diyos. Ikaw po ang aming kapiling po ngayon. Hindi mo po kami pababayaan sa buong panahon ng aming pagtitipon. Ang lahat aming ipinagmamakaawa sa iyo, Ama, sa ngalan po ng aming Panginoong Hesukristo. Amen.
Thank you so much po, Brother Michael Chicote, for gracing us with that blessed prayer. Everyone, we may now take our seats.
Once again, we would like to welcome our honorable professors and wonderful guests to our seminar,
Psychological First Aid, a guide for students. Before we move on with our program, please allow us to introduce ourselves. I am Christine Louis Robles from Psychology Department, College of Arts and Sciences.
And I am Marian Faye Munoz from Psychology Department, College of Arts and Sciences, your hosts
for this seminar. Ayan, so good morning everyone. Welcome to this seminar entitled Psychological First Aid, a Guide for Students, spearheaded by the College of Arts and Sciences, NEU Psychology Society, and Psychology Review Group,
Office of the Students Affairs and Services,
Guidance and Counseling Center,
and Health Services Department.
And to open the curtain for today's seminar, we would like to call Professor Rubilin Santillan, the NEU Psychology Society advisor, to inspire us with her opening remarks.
Good morning, everyone. I hope that you are generally physically and mentally healthy as well, in line with the celebration of the Mental Health Awareness Month, and with the increasing numbers of people suffering from anxiety, depression, and others, or even suicide. We'll be hearing one of the essential timely topic this morning, entitled The Psychological First Aid, a Guide for Students. May you, their students, be able to equip with this seminar so that you can be of help of others and even manage your own symptoms if you have been experiencing. So enjoy learning and have a good day, everyone.
All right, thank you for those wonderful words, Professor Rubilin Santillan. Once again, she is our NU Psychology Society advisor.
Miss Ray, I guess our attendees are very excited about this event.
Yes, Miss Christine, I can actually feel the excitement of our attendees here in our University Hall.
Yes, partner, and I believe that all of us here are very eager to hear the discussion from our dear speaker. Pero bago yon, Miss Faye, since morning ngayon, baka yung iba sa atin need ng pampagising ng diwa. Yung iba sa atin dyan, hindi tinablan ng kape. Right, partner?
Tama ka dyan, partner, and I can see that. Kaya naman, we prepare an activity para magising hindi lang ang diwa natin, kundi pati utak, and ma-ready tayo sa mga information na makukuha natin mamaya from our beloved speaker.
At di na natin patatagalin pa yan, partner. Here's our little icebreaker for this event. Miss Faye, would you mind introducing the mechanics for our game?
Of course, partners. So our game for today's seminar is jumbled words. And here's the mechanics for our game. Arrange the jumbled letters to form the correct word with the help of the word definition under each puzzle. So ayan guys, we hope for full cooperation of the attendees here inside the University Hall.
Yes, our 50,000 viewers, sana po maki-operate po tayo sa ating little icebreaker. Ayan. Alam mo ba,
Ayan.
Miss Neri, may prizes po.
Magkano bang prices?
50K.
Tumatingting ng 50K daw ang
Yes.
prices. Ayan, kaya sa mga attendees natin dito sa University Hall, ready na ba kayo sa price na 50K?
Ay, ready talaga sila. Parang gusto
Sobrang
ata
ready.
mas mataas. 100K. Okay.
100K na price. Ready na ba kayo doon mga attendees?
Ayan, ready na.
Ayan, ready na. So with that, I guess ready na ang ating audience. Can we hear from the people sitting on the left side of this hall?
Are you guys ready? Sa left side. Yay! Ready sila. Can we hear from the people sitting at the right side naman? Yan.
And thank
Gusto
you
ko yan.
guys for the cooperation.
Gusto ko yung energy.
All right, with that, let's begin with our icebreaker.
Ayan. Sino gusto sumagot ng number 1? Last kamay. Miss. That's the stage.
And for our first icebreaker, an outbreak of disease that spreads quickly and affects many individuals at the same time. So we have here our audience ready to
Recording in progress.
answer questions. First, let me know what is your name. Rodine Marie. Okay, let us give muna a round of applause for Miss Rodine Marie. Ayan, thank you so much. So what is your answer, Miss Rodine? Can we see the right answer? Miss Rudine's answer is pandemic. Is it right? Yes. Thank you so much for that, Miss Rodine. That's right. Pandemic is an outbreak of disease that spreads quickly and affects many individuals at the same time.
And for the second item, relating to the healing of disease. Who wants to answer number 2? What is your name po? Ayan. Let us all give a round of applause
For Mr. J.
What is your answer for the second item po? And let us see. Correct po si Mr.
Ayan, correct. Therapeutic is relating to the healing of disease. Thank you for that, Mr. Jaya. And for the third item for our icebreaker. Ayan, who's ready to answer the third item for our icebreaker? From the people here, right side, our right side of the University Hall. Ayan, again, basahin natin yung question, baka hindi lang naintindihan. The state of being or process of becoming aware of something.
Ano kaya yun?
Ayun, hindi ko rin alam eh. Kaya mangingi tayo ng tulong sa audience natin dito sa right side. Ayan. Sino pong makakasagot ng third item ng ating icebreaker? Or from the left side of our University Hall, baka may nakakaalam ng sagot. Or baka our organizers know the answer. Para naman, baka hindi alam ng audience natin, yung mga organizers alam nila. Yan, sige, magbo-volunturo na lang ako. Ayan, from the girl at the back. Perception. Ayan, tingnan natin kung tama ang perception. Ayun, tama. So, can we go back? Perception is the state of being or process of becoming aware of something. And thank you po for that. And for the fourth item for our icebreaker, The state of being free from illness or injury. Ayan, kuya. First, what's your name po? Po? Zaire. Zaire. Ayan, Brother Zaire, what is your answer po for the fourth item? Health. Okay, can we see if that's correct? Yeah, health is the state of being free from illness or injury. Ayan, for the last item na to, mga audience natin dito, sino kayang ready mag-answer ng last item natin? Yan, from Ate Diana, organizer daw po. Sige, Ate Diana, since sa'yo galing, ano po ang sagot sa last item? Ano po? Ayan, fundamentals. Yeah. It is a central or primary rule or principle on which something is based. Ayan, thank you po, guys and audiences for participating for our icebreaker. I hope na-energize kayo sa gagawin na-energize kayo at na-ready kayo mga utak ninyo para sa discussion na maririnig natin this morning.
Ayan, so partner, I think it's about time that we introduce our guest speaker for today. Would you kindly do the honors?
Of course, Ms. Christine, let me introduce our guest speaker for today. He is a Bachelor of Science in Nursing graduate of FEU Institute of Nursing as partial academic scholar. He has specialty diploma in mental health at King Faisal Specialist Hospital and Research Center, Ministry of Health, KSA. A Master of Arts in Education, major in Educational Management, NEU Graduate School of Education. A Master of Arts in Nursing, major in Community Health, UP College of Nursing, Graduate School, units obtained still be continued. A PhD in Education, major in SPED, and Inclusive Education in New University Leadership Awardee. He is a former Public Health Training Staff in Strategic Planning Department, Office of the Secretary, Department of Health, during the time of the late Secretary Juan Favia. A former private duty nurse in emergency room in Makati Medical Center. He is also former ICU patient care technician in Washington Adventist Hospital, Silver Spring, Maryland, USA, and also a pioneer member in Climate Change and Academic Resilience Advocacy Society at University of the Philippines.
Also, partner, our guest speaker for today is presently working as regular full-time faculty, nursing alumni advisor and research coordinator, and faculty development coordinator at NEU College of Nursing. He is also a former director from NEU Disaster Preparedness and Management Center. He is also a course coordinator, disaster and mental health and biological physiology, NEU College of Arts and Sciences, and College of Nursing. Former subject facilitator, disaster risk reduction from NEU Senior High School Department, and is also presently a regular full-time faculty from NEU College of Nursing and seasonal faculty of NEU College of Arts and Sciences, Integrated School, College of Medical Technology, College of Physical Therapy, College of Respiratory Therapy, and Graduate School of Education. Let us all give Dr. Jessie Joey S. Alvarado a big round of applause.
A very pleasant, helpful, and of course, blessed day to all of you, especially those who are witnessing us live here in the NEU auditorium. To our organizers, of course, to our students, lalo na yung mga estudyante ko na nandito, sa psychology department, of course, and sa mga ministers natin and church workers who are supporting the activities. Of course, the heads of the department, okay, our dean, our department heads from psychology, Sir Billy, and of course from the guidance office, Sir Genesis, also from the different organization, psychology of society, Sir Bill, and psychology review, okay, group, I think. And of course, those who are tuning in from YouTube and Zoom, okay. A pleasant good morning to all of you. Okay. This is a timely and, of course, relevant issue. Talk about, okay, psychological first aid. Okay, actually, not only in times of pandemic or in times of disasters. This is timely and relevant in all, okay, times that there is necessity, for psychological intervention to prevent the occurrence of mental health problems. So this is also one way of establishing, our effort, like psychology students, future professionals, to preserve your integrity of having the sense of altruism to help other people, whether in the midst of crisis or in a normal circumstances. So thank you for inviting me for this important discussion. Who actually, okay, need to know psychological first aid? You might be thinking, sir, hindi naman ako psychology student, hindi naman ako professional psychologist, at hindi naman ako nasa health. Why do I need to know about psychological first aid? Okay, are you not aware that not only those health sciences students, okay, deserve or has the right, to help people in times of crisis? Psychological first aid can be done and can be conducted by anybody who, okay, with criteria, anybody who has gained adequate knowledge, appropriate knowledge about psychological first aid. Of course, who have developed at least skills in communication, skills in helping other people. And third and most important is those who are, okay, trying to help other people and develop the proper attitude to help other people. And that, I think, is the most important, okay, dimensions to consider in helping other people, the attitude. Why? Because if you have the knowledge that you will gain today about psychological first aid, fundamentals of psychological first aid, and you have eventually developed your skills in communicating or having interpersonal relationship with people, those two domains are not enough if you don't have the proper attitude. Am I right? Okay. So how about helping other people? Okay, sense of altruism. You have the knowledge, you have the skills, but you don't have the proper attitude of really, initiating, helping other people. Sabi ko nga, in times of disasters, in times of calamities, or not, okay, or during the normal circumstances. When is the best time for us to consider helping other people? Okay, sabi nga natin, even at this time of pandemic, sabi nila, kailangan natin ng psychological first aid. But even with or without pandemic, we can actually provide psychological first aid to those who are in need, okay, to those who are in a crisis situation. What else? How is it to be a good, okay, first aider or psychological first aider? And this is what we're going to talk about today. Okay. So I already answered what, who, when, and now let's talk about the how. Okay. So why pandemic? Sabi nga natin dito, why pandemic? Sinabi ko din sa, can I have the first slide po? Okay, let's look at the first slide that I prepared. I put their fundamentals of psychological first aid pandemic edition. Okay. Aside from this essence of having this as part of your, okay, curriculum and as part of your extracurricular activities to help other people as a guide for psychology students, this is also very important in times of the pandemic. Why? What is in the epidemiological condition of our country that makes psychological first aid approach different? Anong pagkakaiba ng psychological approach natin ngayon na may pandemic doon sa wala namang pandemic? Kaya that makes our discussion nowadays in psychological first aid more relevant at this time. Meron bang pagkakaiba, Sir Joey, about how we are going to approach people who are in need, especially now in times of pandemic? Yes, there are already some circumstances that you will observe. Just right now, you're wearing mask, right? You're wearing mask. How can I provide psychological first aid if I will wear mask? But in fact, one of those principles is to look at the person eye to eye, look at the emotions, look at the motivations of that particular person. That is one of the important things I will be touching on in our discussion. Okay. Before we proceed, I would like to ask you to deep breathe. No? Let's have the breathing exercise. Can you do it for me? Inhale, exhale. Okay, relax. Inhale, exhale. Are you aware that the normal breath per minute is 16 to 20? Now, I want you to be conscious about it. Now, I'm leveling you to a conscious level. Psychology students, you know the meaning of consciousness in psychology, as well as consciousness in physiology. Physiology muna tayo. So, can you count your breaths per minute? If you have wristwatch there, no? Meron kayong relos na merong mahaba, no? Servil, yung mahabang arm sa relos nyo, or meron kayong timer dyan. You're going to count your breaths per minute. How many? Are you normal breathing? In 1 whole minute, there should be 16 minimum to 20 breaths per minute, right? Pinag-aralan natin yan sa biophysio. For example, isang inhale, isang exhale, 1. Inhale, exhale, 2. I want you now to count, no? Sige, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Nakakatuwa kayo huminga, no? Parang hindi gumagalaw. Now, close your eyes. Sige, kahit hindi nyo nabilangin. Alam kong normal naman tayo na yun. Hindi naman kayo kinakabahan. Siguro ako medyo kinakabahan, kaya medyo mataas yung ating breaths per minute. Maybe 21 ako. Inhale, exhale, inhale. But this breathing exercise will make you relax, not only because you're listening to me, but also it will increase the oxygen level in your brain, and perhaps it will also provide the proper departmental folder in your temporal lobes, no, to absorb the things that we're talking about. Okay, now you're on conscious level. Okay, if you're going to count your breaths per minute, close your eyes. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay. What do you feel? You are on your conscious level. Pero kapag pinagpatuloy kong pagbilang ko ng inhale, exhale, baka mapunta kayo sa unconscious level. What do I mean? Baka makatulog kayo, right? Baka masobra kayong relax. Pero yung konting breathing exercise class, no, mga audience natin nandito, will help you, okay, put yourselves in the conscious level. And there is an implication to what we're going to discuss this morning. You want to put your victims of psychological first aider, no, into a conscious level. You want them to go back to reality. Now, I'm asking you to go on your conscious level by counting your breaths per minute. You're on your conscious level. That means you can control your breathing. Am I right? Actually, you cannot control your breathing because it's involuntary. Kaya ako lang nasabi sa inyong bilangin nyo yung inyong breaths per minute. I want you to go in your conscious level. But even if you're not in a conscious level, you can breathe. Am I right? Now, I put you in a conscious level. You have the tendency now to control your breathing. Am I right? If you have the tendency to control something, that means you're aware of it. If you're on the conscious level, that means you can control the things that you are thinking about. Ngayon, anong implication yan sa physiology and psychology? May mga tao, they go on to unconscious level. These are the people who are sometimes victims of psychological problems. These are people who are victims of mental health. These are people whom need your assistance because they are on their unconscious level. You want to wake them up. You want to let them face the realities of life. Just like us, no? May mga times na we suffer from using defense mechanism. These are all unconscious level. And we want them to open their minds on a conscious level. So consciousness, isa sa mga pag-usapan natin mamaya. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, psychological first aid, as you all know, is a form of mental health issue intervention. Sabi nga natin kanina, it's very important for us to use this as a tool to help other people. And what kind of concept is mental health? Okay, we are talking about mental health nowadays. In fact, the whole week, celebrations of our activities from different institutions will be talking about mental health awareness. What is the concept behind mental health? This mental health issue is, of course, very controversial. Every now and then, makakarinig kayo ng mga seminars sa iba't ibang institutions talking about mental health, right? Now, all seminars are really geared towards mental health. Magiging part and parcel of our daily lives, not only during the times of the pandemic. It's also very highly sensitive. It's not easy to talk about mental health nowadays because some people are very sensitive about it. But because of social media, it becomes a fad. It becomes a daily, issues and concerns of everyone because everyone really suffers and experiences this. We all have the tendency, if it is sensitive, highly sensitive, we all have the tendency to introspect. We have all the tendency to reflect on ourselves. We all have the tendency to use defense mechanisms and deny that we're having mental health problems sometimes. And also, most of the youth nowadays, they self-diagnose. What am I talking about? I'm reviewing you about the essence of mental health to everyone. Because social media will tell us what to do, and what is your signs and symptoms, what are you suffering right now? And there's a tendency for people to self-diagnose. And this is a very sensitive issue. And at the same time, mental health problems is highly contagious. Do you agree with me? It's highly communicable. Nakakita ka lang, nakarinig ka lang o nabalitaan mo lang yung classmate mo ay mayroong mental health problems, parang feeling mo may mental health problems ka na rin. Nabasa mo sa Facebook, sa internet about mental health issues, mga youth and all ages nagkaroon ng mental health problems, ikaw mismo, iniisip mo, bakit may mental health problems na rin ako? So it's highly communicable. Pag malungkot ang kasama mo, malungkot ang barkada mo, minsan nalulungkot ka na rin. Parang pandemic na yan, Hindi man siya virus, pero this is a form of illness that could be transferred to one person to another. So it's very contagious and highly communicable kind of mental problems. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, so there's an issue going on that says that it's okay not to be okay. And that is acceptable. Am I right? Acceptable yan. Do you agree? Raise your hands. It's okay not to be okay. Okay. So let me ask you, in a scale of 1 to 5, using the fingers of your hands. 1 being the least okay, and 5 being the highest level of being okay. Can you tell me now? How okay are you? Raise your hands. How okay are you? 1, ganyan. Kung okay na okay, 5. Pag hindi okay, konti lang, 4, meron 1, meron 2. Tingnan ko nga sa audience natin ngayon. How okay are you at this point in time? May nakita ko 2, 3, 4. Be honest. Sabi natin, nasa conscious level tayo ngayon. We don't like to deny. 4, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3. Sir Bill, ikaw, how are you? How okay are you? Sir Jean, Genesis, 5. Okay. Iba-iba ang rating nyo sa sarili nyo. And that is a reality. And that is true. Each and every one of us is in the continuum of health. Wala makapagsabi na talaga, sir, 5 na 5 naman ako. Yes, okay, you're 5. That's what you think. That's okay. Okay? So, lahat yan ay subjective. And you're right when you say you're 2, you're 3. Maybe tomorrow, iba naman yung scale nyo. Maybe mamaya, iba na yung scale nyo. Maybe next week, may final exam, iba naman yung scale nyo. So, mamaya paglabas nyo, wala kayo masakyan, iba na namang scale nyo, hindi na kayo okay. Umulan pa, bumagyo pa, hindi na kayo okay. So, meaning to say, hindi Okay? Hindi stagnant, hindi static ang level of pagiging okay natin. Okay? So do you agree in that? Okay, that is already a fact. Sometimes being okay, sabi nila, oy, hindi ako okay today. Sometimes it's understated. Sometimes naman it's overstated. Why we say it's understated? Minsan hindi natin pinapansin yung mga kaibigan natin. Pag tinanong nyo, kamusta ka na? Okay lang. Pero nakita mo, hindi naman siya okay. Facial expression, emotions, no? Dapat makita natin yan. Pero you don't bother to ask, mukhang hindi ka naman talaga okay. Parang pag sinabi niyo okay siya, okay na siya. Tanggap niyo na yun. This is understated. Hindi masyadong napapansin. Pero sa ibang bansa, class, when I was in the States, when they ask you, when you're on duty, are you okay? When they ask you, Joey, are you okay? I think you are not okay. They are very, very straightforward. If you're not okay, you don't need to come on duty. You don't need to perform your tasks because it will affect the patients. What am I driving at? Okay, so you have to be conscious about the level of anxiety of the person you're talking to. Is it really okay just to ask, are you okay? Or you have to verify if the person's really okay. And at the same time, yun ina-understated natin. Kahit sabihin mo pa kapatid mo, mama mo, kinamusta mama, okay ka lang ba? Okay lang. Minsan, kung sinabi nilang okay sila, okay na. But we don't bother to verify. Sometimes it is overstated naman. Nag-OA naman yung iba. Hindi naman ako okay, hindi ako okay. Kahit naman minsan ay okay na siya, sasabihin niya hindi okay. So sometimes it's being overstated. And I want you to be conscious about that when you're trying to help other people, being a psychological first aider. So psychological first aid is very important, okay, in helping other people establish their awareness towards mental health. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, these are just realities, that is being published in different social media platforms about what's happening nowadays in terms of health issues. Like for 43.8 billion adults around the globe experience mental illness, whether it's a natural or man-made disasters. Mental health-related deaths are also second leading cause of fatalities among young adult age group regardless of environmental situation. Sabihin, kahit may pandemic, kahit merong bagyo, or kahit walang earthquake, meron pa rin mga issues of mental health problems. Social stigma remains to be the #1 adversary of mental illness. And lack of psychological first aid. Take note of this one. Lack of psychological first aid becomes #1 predisposing factor that leads to worsening of mental health problems. That's why we're talking about the importance of psychological first aid. Kapag hindi natin alam or hindi tayo gumawa ng psychological first aid sa tao, we are worsening the situation. That's why we are spreading these important concerns of providing psychological first aid to people who are in need nowadays. Next slide, please. Most common maladaptive behaviors that would occur if we fail to provide psychological first aid to people who are in need are post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay, we'll not be discussing the details of this. I just want to mention some of the mental health problems you might encounter. Anxiety, all levels. What are the levels of anxiety? Mild, moderate, severe, and worse is the panic attack. Mood disorders, yan yung may mga bipolar, yan yung may mga depression, at meron din yung mga manic type. So if it is a combination of depression and manic type, it's a bipolar disorder. Conduct disorders among elementary and high school students, probably. Personality disorders like obsessive compulsive, mood disorders, etc., etc. Okay, let's go to the next slide, please. So these are the manifestations of what you would see in your clients, if you want to take care of them. And if the situation gets worse, they will really lead to that kind of disorder. So what do psychological first aiders like you in the future or now, you will practice it, must review before attempting to care. That's why we need to review some of the mental health issues, because you cannot be a good psychological first aider if you don't understand mental health. And if you don't understand yourself, may makita yung essence niyan. Okay, yung next slide, please. So as I said, what do psychological first aiders must review before attempting to care? What are these talaga na dapat natin reviewin? So I want you to be aware of all of this. These are very important before you want to become a very good or better first aider. Next slide, please. Okay, when you say health, no, let's review health. Health is a state of complete physical, mental, biological, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. What do we mean by this? Sabi natin ang health, no, according to WHO, dapat alam na ng isang psychology students yan, and lahat ng estudyante natin nandito sa university. Ang health ay hindi lang isang dimension. Okay, it's complete, it must be complete. So not all people, okay, here is really healthy. If you have mental health problems, if you have physical problems, if you have biological problems, kung hindi kompleto yung components na yan, there's still something lacking in you. You are not in the full state of health. So meaning to say, hindi lang yung mga nasa hospital ang hindi healthy. Kundi kahit tayo dito naglalakad, nakakasama mo, minsan hindi sila completely healthy. Okay, tama ba ako? Kasi may ibang components na hindi naman talaga na-attenan. Okay, like mental health. Okay, so it doesn't mean na wala ka sa hospital, ay okay ka. So that means they need us, no? Even if they are not in the hospital. So that is the definition of health that I want you to review. Next slide, please. So this is the continuum level of health. Kaya kanina, tinanong ko kayo, anong levels ng inyong pagiging okay? Iba-iba tayong levels ng pagiging okay. And it's fluctuating. Sometimes it reaches high level and low level without really reaching the normal level. We are really having this continuum. Kaya wala talagang healthy tao. Aminin naman natin yan. Wala naman talagang ill na tao. Kung ill na yan, dapat nasa ICU na. So lahat tayo nakakasama natin sa araw-araw, sa ating face-to-face activities, and even sa bahay, ay merong wellness and illness continuum. So iba-iba tayo. Okay? Anong ibig sabihin niya? May implication din niya sa psychological first aid. We have to assess, nasa ang level ba yung aking kausap? Baka mamaya kailangan na siyang dalhin sa hospital. Or okay naman siya. Hindi naman kailangan dalhin sa hospital. Okay, so this is the continuum of health and wellness. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, when we say mental health pa rin, no? What is the concept? A state of well-being in which a person is able to cope. Are you able to cope with normal stresses of daily lives and the ability to realize your own health, your own strength and potentials? And that is you. Okay. Are you in a mental health state, a good mental health state? Yes, because you're able to cope up. How do we know if the person has established a good mental health at this point in time? Okay. I hope you're listening attentively para ma-assess din natin yung sarili natin. As I said, we cannot be a good psychological first aid if you don't understand yourself. Let's have the next slide, please. So a mentally healthy person, okay, look at this one, has an attitude of self-acceptance. Okay, I'm accepting the fact that I'm strong in this aspect, I'm weak in this aspect. I have the awareness. I accept that I'm now taking psychology course and I can do it. Okay, you have your own self-acceptance. Ano man yung limitations and characteristics natin, ay kailangan natin ng self-acceptance. What else? Has a strong sense of self-actualization. And you're happy with what you have chosen in your pursuit for your future career. Regardless, of course. No? Next slide, please. Okay, a mentally healthy person also has integrity, no? Integrative capacity. Ibig sabihin nyo, now able to integrate everything. Kahit sabihin nyo pang, may klase ako mamaya, sir, meron akong online mamaya, o mamaya pupunta naman ako sa school. Alam na yung activities nyo sa araw-araw. Kahit na nung klaseng mga accomplishments pa yan, ano bang klaseng pa mga works yan, alam nyo dapat i-prioritize. You have the time management already. You have the integrated capacity to do all these things. Multitask na kayo. At kayang-kaya nyo yan. Minsan may exam pa kayo, minsan pupunta pa kayo, meron pa kayong activities sa pamilya nyo, and you're able to manage that. That is a mentally healthy person. Autonomous behavior, you're able to choose your career You're able to manage, to excel in your different subjects. And that is also a sense of autonomy. And you, okay, are proud of what you are at now. Next slide, please. A mentally healthy person also has the, next slide, please. Another important point is acceptance of reality. Nowadays, it's pandemic. Nowadays, I have to go to school and at the same time go online. So you have to accept the reality. Nasa pandemic pa tayo. People who could not accept this reality will be having a problem later on. He might have experienced anxiety that will lead to depression. So we must accept reality nowadays. Mahirap ang buhay ngayon. We have to make tipid-tipid sa ating mga baon, sabi nga natin. And we have to manage to go to school kung kailangan. And we have to acquire all this knowledge in order to pass the exams. Next slide, please. Another characteristic, satisfying interpersonal relationship, appropriate behavior, effective coping, emotional stability. Yung mga yan, hindi ko na kailangang explain yan. Alam niyo yan. Nasa college level na kayo. And those who are listening to us via YouTube and Zoom, how well is your interpersonal relationship? Not only to your relatives, but to your friends. Are you now engaged in an intimate relationship, being a young adulthood? Maraming ganyan, they are also being affected by the relationships they have. It affects their studies. So let's just try to be accepting of our personal concerns and problems, so we can face our mental health more easily. Appropriate behavior, effective coping, emotional stability. Kamukha ngayon, you're listening to me, you have your emotional stability. Walang naingay, walang nag-uusapan. Ibig sabihin, you can control your emotions and you have a proper or appropriate behavior at any given time. Kung kailangan tumawa, tatawa, kung kailangan malungkot, makikisimpathize, kung kailangan mag-participate, magpa-participate. Next slide, please. So, a mental illness naman, a dynamic state of emotional, psychological, and social imbalances associated with distress and impaired functioning as evidenced by the opposite of what I have discussed in mental health. A mentally healthy person, na-discuss natin kanina, have satisfactory relationship, effective coping, acceptance of reality. Lahat ng na-discuss natin na characteristic ng isang mentally healthy, opposite naman. So that means you have unstable relationship. You have emotional instability. You don't have acceptance of reality. So hindi ko na i-discuss yan because you know that. So these are the things that your patients or client might be experiencing if you happen to be in a psychological first aid avenue. Next slide, please. So you must understand your client problem, mental health problem, to be of different predisposing factors or different psychodynamics. Not all of them are biologically inclined. Hindi lahat ng cause ng kanilang mental health problem is biological. So you look at this one, biological, genetics, it runs in the family sometimes, right? Alam niyo yan sa physiology. Number 2, psychoanalysis, Sigmund Freud, growth and development ng bata, apektado ba nung sa kabataan pa? Marami bang basic needs na hindi na-attain? Marami bang developmental tasks na hindi na-achieve? So it might go, to the level na nandito sa adulthood na siya, it's also being manifested. And some of your clients might be manifesting this kind of problem. What else is the cause of psychodynamics of mental health? Cognitive and behavioral. Yan yung mga irrational beliefs natin na nadadala nyo pa rin hanggang sa lumaki kayo. Yan will also be affected by the pandemics. Yung mga taong makakasama nyo will also be having that kind of problem, cognitive and behavioral. And of course, socio-cultural, the environment, the experiences, the pandemic, yan, yung mga naranasan natin disasters, natural man yan or man-made disasters, could also be a predisposing psychodynamics of mental health problems. Next slide, please. Okay. Yung word na sad or SAD, actually, this is supposed to be SAS, no? It should not lead to sad. What is SAD? SAD means stress, anxiety, go towards depression. But what we want is stress, anxiety, and S, only sadness. What is the major problem nowadays, the health problem nowadays ng tao? Sabi nga is due to, it's because of depression. Anong cause ng depression? The number one cause of the problem nowadays or health problems ng tao ngayon is stress. Stress is just pressures in life and everybody experiences that. Stress will lead to anxiety. Once you experience anxiety, you will experience sadness, no? A feeling of sadness. If you feel that you are sad, and that is normal reaction. Take note, huh? Stress will lead to anxiety. Anxiety should lead only to sadness. Why some people lead to depression? Okay, those people have problems in coping. Okay, you see? So it's supposed to be dapat sad ka lang. And sadness is a normal emotional response due to stress. Why people lead to depression? Because they diagnose themselves to be depressed. And you should not be over-diagnosing yourself without proper assessment from health professionals. So depression is actually a serious mental health problems. And we should not acquire this one because we are in a good mental health state. So kailangan sadness lang. And sadness is just normal reaction. You see? Kaya kung meron nakita kayo sabi, malungkot ako, ay mamayang konti, depressed ako, friend, depressed ako. Hindi ka depressed. I want you to wake up, deep breathe, okay, inhale, exhale. I want you to reach the conscious level. Become aware of yourself. Okay, sabi nga natin, if you're aware of your breathing, you have the tendency to control your breathing. And supposed to be yan dapat ay autonomic. Okay, so that is what we should have in our normal psychodynamics. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, so these are stressful situations that may eventually lead to depression, perhaps to some people. And I will not be discussing the details of this. You know this, financial issue, current issues, pandemic, various calamities, work-related stresses, overload, burnouts, conflicts, family issues, relationship, etc., etc. Okay, so you know that already. Let's go to the next slide, please. So this stress will lead to some sort of biophysiological effects, no? So what are these, no, na nararamdaman natin? Okay, and this could also be felt by the victims of calamities, yung magiging client nyo, no, sa inyong psychological first aid. Like headache. Are you having headache? Brain nerve tension? Ulcer? Nag-hyperacidity na ba kayo? Kapag meron kayong stress, nangyayari yan, normal. Hypertension is a vascular problem. Palpitation, regular heartbeat. So naramdaman nyo na yan kapag meron kayong stress. Chest pain to some. And amnesia, memory loss. Hindi na makapag-concentrate sa kanilang review. And these are all effects of stress. And you have to know this, in order for you to assess yourself. Ano na ba yung level of health nyo? Okay, if you're suffering from this one, that means you need to relax. Deep breathe. The breathing exercise na ginawa natin kanina will not only increase the oxygen level in your brain for you to function well, no, yung brain cells, but also nakakatulong din sa smooth transmission ng mga impulses sa brain ninyo pag nag-aaral kayo. Oxygen is very important. Kaya nga kapag nag-inhale, exhale kayo, nare-relax din yung muscles niyo sa katawan. Okay, next slide please. So how can we handle these negative stresses to prevent mental illness? So you could also advise this to your clients. Next slide, please. Okay, there are only triad. No? I just want you to remember this triad if you want to cope with your mental health problems or with the mental health problems of your clients. Number one is realistic perception of the event. The other angle here is adequate coping, and the other angle here is support system. Just remember these three. Okay. I want you to be an instrument or a person who has acquired adequate knowledge of mental health issues. Okay, ano yung realistic perception of event? Importante yan. Okay? Sabi natin kanina, accept the reality. If you don't accept reality, kahit yung mga patients nyo or clients nyo don't accept reality, ang hirap niyang tulungan. Right? Number 2, adequate coping. And number 3, support system. Tingnan natin, isa man dyan ay mawala, may kulang na, imbalance na. So be sure that you have adequate support from people you know, significant others, your friends, your relatives, your teachers, okay, your advisors, okay, adequate coping and realistic perception. So isa-isayin natin yan para mas specific sa mind nyo. Next slide, please. And this is also your instrument, no, in providing psychological first aid to victims, no, who need it. Okay, realistic perception of events. How can I do the proper way, no, of perceiving, okay, realistically the events happening around me? Acceptance of self, sabi natin kanina, and realities of life. Okay, meaning to say, you don't deny, accept the things that's happening kasi you cannot move on. Okay? So sabi nga nila, pag naghihiwalay, may darating din naman. Naghihiwalay sa kanyang special someone, that is normal. You have to accept it. If you don't accept it, you cannot move on. And you will continue denying it. And that means you will be having problems of mental health. Self-awareness, this is very important sa isang psychological first aider. Think about your purpose in life. Ano bang purpose ko? Bakit ako made-depress? Bakit ako malulungkot? Ano bang purpose in life? Ang purpose mo in life is to study and have a better future, to help your family. Psychology for whom? Psychology for what? What am I here for? Think about it. Meron kang may ina-expect ang parents mo sa'yo? Think about it and you will see how valuable you are. Meron tayong purpose in life, right? Lahat tayo may purpose, kaya tayo nandito. So value it, okay? Because that is your role. Kaya ka kinrate, okay? Para meron kang particular role sa mundo. Capitalize on what you have and not on what you don't have. You know that. I don't need to explain that. Your potentials. Don't capitalize on your weaknesses. You'll not be able to cope. And the last one here in realistic perception is face stigma head on. Because stigma, sabi natin kanina, is one of the predisposing factors why people lead to depression because of stigma of other people. Sa ibang bansa, okay lang mag-leave if they are depressed. Face-to-face, sabihin na lang sila sa boss nila or manager nila, "Sir, I could not attend my duty today." O, hindi ako pwedeng mag-work today. I'm totally burned out at stressed po ako. Because they have what they call depression leave. Nakakapag-leave sila sa work nila at bayad pa rin sila. And they are not afraid of telling it to their bosses or to their manager. Nade-depress po ako, medyo nalulungkot po ako. Pwede po ako mag-leave. Hindi ko kayang magtrabaho ngayon. Pero sa Philippines, wala tayo niyan. Okay? Mahihiya ka pag sinabi mo, di ba? May stigma. Ay, nababaliw na yata itong kasama ko sa trabaho. Gustong mag-leave. Lagi nilang depressed. Pero sa ibang bansa class, it's normal to apply for a leave due to, okay, sadness or mental health issues. And they understand that, sabi nga natin. Importante yan. Sa Pilipinas, kung wala nun, let's stick to our own mindset and go for it. If you need a rest, mental rest, go for it. Yung mga teachers naman natin sa psychology, very understanding. Okay? Kung meron man mas makakaunawa sa inyo ay yung mga teachers ninyo. At kung sino man mas nakakaunawa sa sarili nila, walang iba kundi ang psychology students. You know that. I'm always telling it to you. You have the reason why you are here in psychology department because you are the instrument of future people who are in need of your advices and your concern. Let's go to the next one, please. Support system. Sir, paano yung support system? Minsan, categorically, alam niyo na yan. Basta may kaibigan ka, sir, okay na yan. So look at this one. Support system. Each and every one of us supposed to be a support individual. Consider yourself a support to other people. Kapag nalulungkot yung kaibigan nyo, at ikaw naman ay kaya mong situation mo, be an instrument. Be a support to your friend. When we say therapeutic use of self, eto na, no? Psychological first aid. I'm going through the psychological first aid characteristic na. You don't need to bring any equipment with you when you want to help other people. Bring yourself. Yourself is the best tool in helping other people. Eh sir, hindi ko kaya. Yan nga sinasabi natin, you have to establish self-awareness first. That's why I'm reviewing the mental health issues. Para ikaw mismo handang tumulong sa ibang tao. How can you help if you yourself could not accept what's happening to you? How can you offer things that you don't have? That's why you're here, no? And that's why I commend our department, or the College of Arts and Sciences, for continuously providing information and education for us to always review our essential role to people, or indeed, especially nowadays. Therapeutic use of self is the greatest tool that you can offer to your friend, to your parents, to your teachers. Sometimes your teachers also suffering from sadness and depression. How many of you have asked your teachers, Ma'am, kamusta na kayo? Sir, kamusta na kayo? So this is a very good, important, and very important component, yourself. And the second, therapeutic communication, the second greatest tool that you can have. Yung pagkakamusta nyo lang sa tao. Are you okay? That's the beginning of your therapeutic communication. Number 2, follow it up. Huwag lang kamustahin, follow it up. Kamusta ka na, friend? Are you really okay? Verify. This is one of the therapeutic communications that you need to learn in your course as well. Therapeutic communication, because everyone deserves time to be heard. Binabanggit ko na rin dito yung principles ng psychological first aid. Kung mapapansin nyo, everyone needs to be connected. Kaya may mga online ngayon, if you need help. And everyone enjoys to be touched and hugged. Kung mapapansin nyo, I asked you a while ago, what makes this pandemic different in our approach in psychological first aid? Number 1, sir, nahirapan na ako mag-eye-to-eye contact sa tao. Bakit? Naka-wear po kami ng mask. You're wearing mask because this is the protocol. You're wearing mask like this. If you're wearing mask, look at me. Sabi, principles of effective therapeutic communications is eye-to-eye, and look at the facial expressions ng kausap. Ito isang barrier. We cannot help it because of the protocol. Am I right? And this will also be a barrier in providing psychological first aid and help to other people. Why? Pag nakamask kang ganyan, hindi mo alam kung naka-smile siya or what. Eh sir, may mata naman po. Hindi importante talaga yung eye contact, right? Kausap mo may eye contact, pero hindi mo alam kung nakangiwi na yung labi. Am I right? So is it a barrier? Yun ang isang gusto kong maintindihan nyo. Approach during the pandemic. Try to remove your mask if you want to talk to somebody, because the whole face has different muscles. Physiology natin yan. Trigeminal, facial nerve, abducent nerves. Even the muscles of the eyes are talking. The muscles of the mouth are talking. Even the nose, the ears are talking. So, may problema tayo sa psychological first aid natin kapag hindi natin nakita yung buong mukha ng tao. What else is the barrier? Distance. So, how can I touch somebody who are in need kung talagang naka-distance kami? Pwede pa rin yung gawin yung pwedeng nakalayo ng konti. Why not tap at the back of the person? Everybody deserve a tap at the back, a shoulder, o sa shoulder man lang yan. Kaya ngayon, may barriers kahit papano, pero ginagawa natin ng paraan. Okay, that makes things a little bit harder for us to provide psychological first aid, lalo na kung gagamitan mo ng use of touch, and lalo na kung hugged. For us in faculty members, minsan we try to hug our faculty who are celebrating birthday, di ba, Sir Bill? Kaya lang nowadays, we have to use our mask. Pag nakamask na tayo, I don't mind, I don't care hugging people because nakamask din naman siya. I don't want him to be deprived of a hug just because of the pandemic. You get my point, guys? Sometimes, okay, I want to hug him. I just want to wear this one. So, i-hug ko pa rin. If they need. Okay? And kung may distance naman, I will remove my mask and talk to the person eye to eye. And I want to see the facial expression. Na-experience nyo na ba? Pumasok na yung teacher nyo sa classroom, teacher nyo talagang naka-open naman yung mask niya. Pero ang teacher ngayon, nagsasuffer sa estudyante ngayon kapag papasok sa face-to-face. No? Yung mga teachers po na nandito, Sir Bill, no? Mga ma'am. Pag pumasok kayo, minsan gusto mo check ng attendance, no? Nakikita mo lang yung mata. Kung kilala mo na sila from first year, no problem. Kung ngayon mo lang ma-encounter at ngayon lang kayo nag-face-to-face, ang hirap mong makilala ang estudyante kapag nakamask. Minsan papasok ako, good morning, welcome. Magsasalita nga, good morning, pero hindi ko alam kung natutuwa sa aking pagdating o may anxiety na. Di ba? Hindi ko alam yung facial expression. Baka nakadila na sa akin. Bahala ka sa buhay mo. Ayan na si Ter, may pit pa yato. Hindi ko makita yung facial expression. Ang hirap, no, sa isang psychology teacher at sa inyong psychology students to really interact, no, freely with complete, no, facial expressions. Alam naman natin verbal and non-verbal communication is very important sa psychology. Okay, this is a support system. As I said, everybody deserve a hug, everybody deserve to be touched. Kung malinis naman ang kamay mo, i-touch mo. Okay, tapos magugas ka na lang later on. Okay, so next slide please. Adequate coping. Prayers is the best coping for most of us. You know that. And how do you really pray? Meron tayo talagang guide in praying, right? Now, I want to supplement that, no? A little bit, supplemental sa prayers. Sometimes we pray because we need assistance. Okay, everybody knows the importance of prayer. Sinong hindi nagpe-pray dito, regardless of your religion, right? Nagpe-pray tayo. Sometimes we pray, but do we meditate at the same time? Some people really know how to pray. Ang gagaling naman talaga mag-pray. But you have to supplement it with meditation. What do we mean by meditation? You have to retrospect. Sometimes you pray, pero hindi naman natin sa self-prospection sa sarili natin. Introspection. Ano ba dapat kong baguhin sa sarili ko? We keep on praying. Okay? Pero you don't establish self-awareness. And you continue praying the same thing. But the most important thing here that we want to integrate in our prayers is yung sinasabi nga natin, yung self-awareness towards what we are praying. Okay, so pag sinabing self-awareness, you will remove everything na nakaka-cause ng mental health problems sa iyo. If you keep on praying that you have to be strengthened, okay, to be stronger in your prayers, sabi mo nga, please help me God. Pero wala ka naman, after the prayer, wala ka namang effort to change yourself. There's no learning. There should be learning in praying. And learning is a change of behavior. I know you get my point there, right? So, prayers is the most important way to cope. Sabi nga ng iba, pagka na-stress sila at na-burnout or may problema, prayers talaga is the best. Then sublimation. Sublimation is the most productive defense mechanism. Anong sublimation? May mga bagay na you turn it into positive. No? Hindi ka maka-attend na ganito, wala kang pera, so maglinis ka lang ng bahay. Merong iba dyan, hindi na maka-attend dahil sa masama ang pakiramdam. Okay, sublimation. Okay, sa bahay lang siya, inaayos niya yung bahay niya. Sublimation, hindi ka maka-attend ng mga church activities mo, tapos may online naman, you can provide something online at may share mo through online, you do it. That's a sublimation. Okay, that is a best coping for people. Expressive therapy like music, art, dance, cooking, occupational works. You've been doing this, and I want you also to share this to your clients sa psychological first aid. A little music, dance, no, will help. Healthy socialization. Hindi lahat ng socialization healthy. You know that. So we're talking about healthy socialization. You socialize with people, okay, with good motives and intentions and with good objectives. Sa mga organization you socialize with them. And personal wellness. Okay, don't you know that going to spa is also good for mental health? Because you receive acupressure. That is the importance of touch and pressure. Therapeutic touch, we get it from massage. Diet, exercise, workout, and even aromatherapy. These are all ways and means to cope. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So you know the triad already, no? In helping other people cope up. Now, before we proceed to the power of psychological first aid, ito maikli na lang to, punto por punto na to. I already provided you with the fundamental, no? Basic introduction of what you're going to do. Papasok na tayo sa specific ng psychological first aid. Okay, so, but before that, I think we have a special number, okay, intermission number. Okay, so carry on. Thank you for listening for part 1.
Ayan, first part pa lang ng discussion, ang dami na nating na-pick up, right, partner?
Yes, partner.
And I really do believe that those words from Dr. Alvarado will benefit and influence not just me, but all of us here na nakinig sa discussion. Tulad na lang ng nasabi niya kanina na it's okay not to be okay. Now let us acknowledge our feelings and let ourselves feel spectrum of emotions.
Yes, tama ka dyan, partner. And sa dinami-rami ng information na natanggap natin mula sa discussion from Sir Jesse, sana hindi pa tayo na-info overload. And speaking of influence, after hearing that meaningful discussion from Sir Jesse, ready ka na bang ma-influensyahan ng magandang tinig mula sa ating guest performer?
Yes, partner, I would love to. And with that, would you mind introducing to us our lovely performer?
Everyone, here to grace us with a lovely song that is as lovely as her voice. Influence the World by Miss Janica Bermudo. Take it away.
We're always taught to be prepared. They don't forget it's always there. Remember you're inside the outside. It breaks the vices of the world. Be strong and don't be led astray. Be loyal to our God. Fight always. You are dropping through this world. Beyond. Don't focus on the prize. Don't you mistake the truth. be perfect, but we'll see it through. So you can always be a hope. Let the world take you first. Open the way to the light. So open the way to the feel the salvation. Let the world and protect you. Over the world, you trouble. If they don't feel that, they stop with you. If you can't go, you won't get it done. That's not it. What will take you away from here? When you follow that word on, you can stand. It will be the salvation.
What a lovely performance. Grabe, partner. Nakakaantig talaga ang boses ni Miss Bermundo. At masasabi ko na talagang nakaka-influence. Tama ba, partner?
Oo nga, partner. But as much as we and the audience want to watch again, let's go on. Thank you for that amazing performance, Miss Janica.
And once again, let us welcome Dr. Jessie Alvarado for the continuation of the discussion.
Okay, thank you for the information number. Okay, and let's proceed. The power of psychological first aid. Okay, let's have the first slide again. Okay, don't you know, class, that most of the people who have post-traumatic stress disorders are children, okay? There are some reactions, that will be manifesting, among our young, okay, members of the community. These are the toddler, the infants, preschool children, school-age children, and the adolescents. I want you to notice this. Now you're starting to prepare yourself to provide psychological first aid, for example. Okay, you are not only catering to adult individuals, but you would see that they have children around them. And you must see, how their reaction. Ang mga bata ba na-stress din? Hindi lang naman yung mga college students or high school students. Let's see how they react to certain controversial issues or crisis situation. Among infants, okay, let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, these are the stress reactions among children and youths after traumatic experience. Don't you know that infants, they can sense and mirror the parents' reaction to the disaster? Let's say nagkaroon sila ng, sa earthquake, nagkaroon ng landslide, naging biktima sila ng landslide at napunta sila sa isang evacuation center. Dala-dala yung kanilang mga babies, ng infants. Infants can sense and mirror the parents' reaction to the disaster. So yung mga baby, kung umiiyak yung parents nila, nararamdaman din ng baby. Umiiyak din yung baby. Na-stress din yung baby. Kapag masaya ang parents nila, nararamdaman din ng baby. At masaya din yung pakiramdam ng baby. How about the preschool children? What is the impact of the disasters sa kanila or crisis situation? They can experience heightened level of generalized fear. Ito yung nagkakaroon ng nightmares, okay? Excessive crying and irritability. Nagkakaroon ka pa nga yan ng bedwetting, no? Na urinate sila sa bed nila. And this is not just a normal circumstances. It could be due to stress. Okay? But they are being manifested, okay, by these preschool children without them knowing what's happening to their body. How about school-age children? They may present classical symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. They could even result to depression at younger age and anxiety disorders. Okay, school-age children yan. How about the adolescents? Some of you are adolescents here. What is the impact of stress or disasters to you? You may exhibit decline in academic performance, rebellion at home, nagre-rebelde yung kabataan, and exhibit social withdrawal. Hindi lang sa hindi pumapasok sa school, kundi ayaw nang makipaglaro sa mga kaibigan niya. And you can see this, no, in evacuation center or refugee camps once you try to visit as a future psychological first aider. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, there are phases of emotional recovery once they experience, no, let's say a big, no, and controversial disaster, whether it's a natural or man-made disaster. Heroic phase, no, nagtutulungan pa yan. Heroic phase in that particular, okay, traumatic experience means their self-esteem is very high. They're still strong, no, because of the adrenaline rush. Papansin nyo, kapag andyan na yung calamities, andyan yung disasters, andyan yung earthquake, andyan yung typhoon, strong pa yung kanilang adrenaline. No? They try to be strong, help other people. Yan. Tawag dyan na heroic phase. The second phase is honeymoon phase. Why honeymoon? Because all of them survivors go together. Okay? They are very grateful that they survived. No? They're happy that they were able to cope up. And the community pulls together their efforts to cope up with the experience. They feel very united. Yeah, that is the honeymoon phase of post-disasters or post-traumatic events. So after honeymoon phase, let's go to the next phase. We have the delusional phase. This is where depression and hopelessness would come in. So as a psychological first aider, this is the time you have to, okay, be in the position of helping that particular person or victim. Dito tayo papasok sa step na ito. We are mostly needed in this time, no? This disillusionment phase. Kasi if you will not be present at this time, okay, the mental health issues will be worsened. You need to be there. Okay. Then the last one is reconstruction phase. Intense emotions are now replaced by sense of acceptance. So because of your psychological first aid effort, they're able to reach, no, this particular last stage, okay, more successfully and more smoothly because of our first aid. Okay. So these are the phases of post-traumatic, no, events. Let's go to the next slide, please. So psychological first aid, okay, is an initial naturalistic and constructivist interpersonal approach towards disaster response or crisis intervention. So hindi lang dahil sa disaster response, tayo pwedeng magbigay ng psychological first aid. Okay, yun ang isa sa mga matututunan natin sa ating discussion. Yung mga crisis situations pa rin sa family, we can also provide psychological first aid. Yan. Sinabi initial, this is initial. Hindi sinabing immediate. Pag first aid lang, alam niyo naman yung first aid, karamihan sa inyo ay nag-first aid na, no? Sa isang particular na accidents, for example, or tumulong kayo sa na-fracture or nagkaroon ng wound, nag-dressing kayo sa wound. Okay, tumulong kayo, no, sa pasyenteng natake sa puso, nag-first aid kayo. That is immediate. Kasi pag hindi kayo nag-immediate first aid, mamamatay yung pasyente. Ito, hindi man siya immediate, but still called initial. Kasi hindi naman kayo agad nandoon sa times of disaster, di ba? Hindi naman kayo agad nandoon sa disaster events. It takes time pa bago kayo makarating bilang psychological first aider. Maybe perhaps after 2 days or 1 week pa after the disaster events, tsaka papasok ang isang psychological first aider. So hindi talaga immediate, no? Initial nga lang, no? But this is still equally significant. Naturalistic, natural, kailangan ano tayo, no? Hindi automatic na kailangan magbigay ka ng isang first aid, kailangan lumalabas yung natural, no? Na pagiging psychological first aider mo. Hindi lang theoretical ang background mo, kundi yung natural na capacity mo to help other people. And constructivism or constructivist means transformation. You want to bring about change, no, in the person's behavior. Change in everything kasi very drastic yung events na yan. At hindi serious, hindi simpleng problema lang. It's a serious problem kapag humingi sila ng tulong sa inyo at talagang pakikinggan kayo kasi they really in need. Hindi ka mukha ng normal circumstances na wala namang disaster events. Much more they need you at this point in time and they will accept you. Next slide, please. The goals of psychological first aid are the following: to meet basic needs of the affected individual. Okay, you have already provided them with shelter, food, clothing, and they're already safe there. To stabilize acute psychological and or behavioral reaction, you have to stabilize them. Some of them are on the panic stage. Some of them are on the denial stage or depression stage or anger stage. So you have to stabilize first. Bilang psychological first aid, try to stabilize their emotions. That is one of your goals. Number 3, to assist in recovery of some degree of adaptive functionality. So you have to get into their consciousness yung strength and bravery to become more resilient of that particular event. So kailangan ng psychological first aid, i-bring up nyo yung kakayahan ng mga clients or power to recover immediately, yung sense of tayo, mapipil ba ng pasyente or ng client na mapagkakatiwalaan tayo at that time? You must position yourself. Makikita yan sa inyong facial expression, sa iyong verbal and non-verbal communication. Makikita kung mapagkakatiwalaan ka kasi you're gathering information from these people and sensitive information for that matter. So that needs confidentiality. Magdi-disclose ba siya? Magsasabi ba siya ng totoo sa iyo? O mapagkakatiwalaan ka ba? To begin with, so you have to establish rapport first para pagkatiwalaan ka ng tao. And hindi madali yan. Okay? Caring attitude or sense of altruism, kindness, alam nyo na yan, patience, kailangan mapagpasensya ka kasi may mga times na hindi ka pa niya papansinin, may mga times na you have to wait for them to listen to you, may mga times na i-refuse ka pa nila or magagalit pa sila sa iyo, pero be patient. There will be time na ma-realize na they need you. Empathy, okay, not only sympathy, but empathy is very important. You're putting yourself in the shoes of the person. At the same time, you're trying to be more professional. Non-judgmental, You know that. Don't judge them of what happened to them. At hindi natin sila sinisisi. Bakit kayo kasi tumira dyan? Okay, nag-landslide tuloy. Ba't kasi kayo nagtayo ng bahay dyan? So we don't do that, no? We don't care about the past, no? We care about the present situation. Active listening, this is the best, no? Core of your psychological first aid. Commitment. Hindi yung nandun ka ng first day, nawala ka na ng second day. Commitment means all throughout the phases of their recovery, andun ka. That is also one way of establishing trust. And of course, acceptance of your role. Ba't ako nandito? Tutulungan ko sila para maka-move on sila sa kanilang life. You have to know that, your role. And you have to accept that. Andun yung hirap at pagod. If you don't accept that, you have no reason to be there. If you don't accept na mahirap yung trabaho mo at it takes a therapeutic communication sa trabaho mo, ay mahirapan ka talaga. Gigive up ka bilang psychological first aider. So from the start pa lang, you have to accept your role as psychological first aider. Okay, next slide. How do we start? How can I be a good and qualified first aider? Look at this one. Start with providing support within your own family or within a circle of friends with whom you feel comfortable. So sir, hindi pala gawang bilang magbigay ng psychological first aid. Hindi lang ba siya masyadong, ang akala ko doon, by theory, pwede na ako magbigay ng first aid. Pag-aralan ko lang yan, pwede na ako magbigay ng first aid. Even if we provide you all the theories, okay, principles of providing first aid, pero you failed, no, to be a good psychological first aider first in your family, it will not be so successful. Para sa isang successful psychological first aider, start with your family. How can you provide support to other people if in fact, okay, napapabayaan mo yung family mo? So ito, pinapractice din nila ito, no? This is also a skill. You first try to assess yourself, sabi natin self-awareness. Am I good enough for my family? Am I also supporting them? If I'm supporting my family, that means I'm equipping myself with that strength and bravery and the sense of altruism to help other people. How can you help other people kung umiiyak yung kapatid mong bunso, umiiyak yung parents mo, hindi mo na nakikita, hindi mo lang kinakamusta, sobra kang busy sa trabaho. This is one thing I want you to learn. No? And from that point, kung ang family mo, ang friends mo, even friends, no? May barkada kayo. Sino bang una magtutulungan kundi ang barkada? Am I right? Tulong ka ng tulong sa ibang tao, pero yung barkada mo, nakalimutan mo, meron din siyang mental health problems, meron din siyang concerns. Inignore mo, dinedma mo. Bakit? Sisikat ka doon sa isang activity. That's not a good characteristic of a good first aider or psychological first aider. Try to assess yourself and try to be more helpful muna sa small peers or group of people. Yun nga, start with the family. Kung okay na, start then. Okay ka naman sa friends mo. And then, you have all the right to help other people. You're now ready to help the community. Then, andyan yung credibility mo. Second, think about working with partner as a team. Sir, ang hirap naman mag-psychological first aider. Pinapunta ako nila, Sir Bill, nila, ma'am, meron tayong sa isang community ng New Era University, meron na biktima sila ng typhoon, nagkaroon ng landslide, baha. Pupunta po ako doon. Ang hirap po, ang daming clients na dapat kausapin. Paano ko sisimulan? Okay, sasabihin sa inyo ng mga teachers nyo, naumpisa mo na ba sa family mo before na nag-care ka? Yes, sir, I'm ready to care other people. Okay, come with us. I will give you a partner. Yan. So, hindi ibig sabihin pupunta ka doon, nagsosolo ka na. Okay? So, bibigyan ka ng partner. In that way, you will be a good first aider kasi meron nag-check and balance. You help each other. Okay, merong nag-document, merong nag-observe sa mga victims, ikaw naman ay nagsasalita, nagko-communicate, to gather data. That is also a very important way to establish your credibility and your strength as a good psychological first aider. So support pa rin. So hindi namin kayong dalawa, pwede bang tatlo kami? No problem. As long as the client or the victims allow you to do so, may kasama ka. Papaalam lang kayo dun sa mga victims. So that's also one way. Okay, remember this mnemonic class. No? So sabi natin stop. Next slide please. Okay, stop. We mean you have to give time. Look at the situation. Not only look at the person you're talking with, but look at the situation around that particular person. And then listen. So, importante itong mnemonic na to for psychological first aiders. Stop. So, give really time. Look. Listen. Then feel what they are going through. So, if you don't do the feeling part, it's unnecessary, because you won't be able to understand. And then act and assist. So, that is the SLLFA of psychological first aider. You have to act and assist. Kung di man totally lahat mabigay mo yung tulong sa kanya, you assist that person. Okay, importante andun yung action. Next slide, please. Ito yung sinasabi natin na model of psychological first aid by Jacobs, yung BEST, yung acronym na BEST. Tandaan nyo lang BEST and EARS. Ano yung best ears? Sabi ng model of psychological first aid ni Jacobs. Best ears. Effective listening is the core skill of psychological support. You already know that. Practical goal of psychological first aid is to let the individual know that there is someone who cares and understands. As long as they know that there's someone cares and understands, that is a big factor already. And of course, effective listening. Okay, so isa-isayin natin muna itong best na yan. Ano yung best or ears? Ito yung equipment na, I'm equipping you now with the proper, principles and steps, towards psychological first aid. And of course, siyempre, wag mawawala yung effective listening. Next slide, please. So yung best dyan class or audience, non-verbal aspect of active listening. Yan yung mga non-verbal aspect of active listening. Sabi, importante ang listening, yes. What kind of listening? Active listening. Hindi naman na ikaw ay nakakarinig, It's not hearing, it must be listening. There are times na you hear them tell you that they have problem, but actually you're not listening. Maybe at this point you're hearing me, but I ask for more. Listen. Yeah, listening is more profound. What is the meaning of BEST? B-E-S-T-T. B, body language. By body gesture, you can communicate your attention, support, and concern to the client. By body language. Alam mo naman kapag ka talagang true, nagsusupport ang kaibigan mo, kasama mo, o kausap mo, kaharap mo, by the body language. Hindi yung kung saan-saan ka bumabaling. Pagka nakausap mo ang isang victim sa psychological first aid, kailangan magkaharap kayo hanggat maaari. Okay? So body language is very important, non-verbal communication. So pakita mo, pati katawan mo ay talagang willing na tumulong. Maayos yung postura mo. Second, eye contact. Sabi nga natin kanina, okay, you can do eye contact. This you can show your sincere respect, focus, and attention. So yung sincerity nakikita sa eye contact. However, if you go to other countries and facing other nationalities, hindi lahat ng mga tao ay accepted ang eye-to-eye contact. May mga taong sensitive sa eye-to-eye contact. Okay, so you learned in your transcultural sociology, mapapansin nyo na yung mga Japanese, at yung pang mga even the Muslim communities, they really don't encourage eye-to-eye contact. Respeto, wag mo siyang tignan eye-to-eye. Pero you can also listen to them. But for Filipinos, Americans, they encourage eye-to-eye contact. Yan. Okay lang yan. Kaya be aware of the nationalities that you are talking with. Space, position, maayos yung position nyo. Hanggat maaari, yung chairs nyo ay movable, nakaharap, face-to-face, hindi naka-side. Ang psychological first aid, hindi nakikipag-usap side-to-side. Anong disadvantage pag side-to-side yung kausap nyo? Ang tendency niyan ay yung iyong body posture, nakatingin ka sa kanan, siya naman nakatingin sa kaliwa niya. At makikita nyo, lahat ng tao nagdadaanan, may di-disturb yung usapan nyo. ano dapat magkaharap yung position nyo. Okay? Yung monoblock, for example, iharap nyo, magkaharap. At saka siya, yung client no, na doon, nakapaste siya sa wall. Ikaw yung nakapaste doon sa labas. Bakit? Kapag siya ang nakapaste sa labas, kung sino man dumaan or mga obstruction, da-divert yung attention niya. So kailangan andun siya, nakapaste sa wall, ikaw yung nakapaste sa labas. Ibig sabihin, nakapokus lang siya sa'yo. So face-to-face, eye-to-eye contact. That is one way of providing a good psychological first aid in terms of space. Next slide, please. And keep distance, no? Kahit paano. Lalo na ngayon, sa pandemic, sabi natin, approach natin is also keep distance. Yan, position. Yan, discuss ko na yan. Next slide, please. So position is a subcomponent of space. People are generally more comfortable when the person with whom they are talking matches the speaker's position. What do you mean by positioning in psychological first aid? Kapag ka ang client mo ay nakaupo, umumpo ka rin. Okay? Kapag ang client mo ay tumayo at hindi siya komportableng nakaupo, tumayo ka rin. Yan. Ganyan din naman sa normal circumstances natin, di ba? Pagka ang teacher nyo kinakausap ka at nakatayo siya, tumayo ka. A sense of respect. Ganyan din sa psychological first aid activities natin. Okay? Pagka nakaupo siya, umupo ka. Hindi yung parang nakatayo ka, nagpapayo ka, para kang nagdidikta sa kanya. So you have to be on the same level or same position. So that's what you call position. Next slide, please. Distance. Each person has a space that individual considers private. So huwag ka masyadong lumapit. This concept is referred to as in psychology as personal space. Yan, importante yan, no? Personal space. Huwag ka masyadong malapit. Alam kong you care, but not too much. Okay, maganda na siguro dahil sa pandemic, no? Talagang we keep distance. Pero no matter how altruistic you are, gusto mong ihag or okay, mapalapit sa pasyente or sa client, huwag masyado. Next slide, please. Orientation. Okay, refers to the culture. Yan, nabanggit ko na kanina. Refers to how one's body is turned and where your face is focused. This is a component of also called culture bound. Okay, consider your client's culture as well. So ingatan, no? Baka mamaya masyado naman kayo masyadong nakatingin ka sa kanya or nakadikit. Next slide, please. Okay, ito naman yung the best. Ano yung best? B-E-S-T-T. Yung sa T na tayo. Time. Refers to commitment to truly be there for the person you are supporting. Adequate time is very important. T is touch. A powerful component of genuine concern and impartiality of whoever is your client. So this is another T, no? Yung touch. Yun nga sabi natin ngayon sa pandemic, hindi ka masyado talagang makakagamit ng sense of touch. Unless talaga, pag matanda na yan, pwede. Pagka bata pa or yung psychological first aider ay lalaki, you don't always use touch to your clients na babae. So you have to respect, no, the gender as well. Sa matatanda, okay lang yan. Okay, next slide please. Okay, yung ears naman, yung ears ay verbal aspects of active listening. E means encourage. This is the way of showing you understand and ready to help. Encourage. You have to, parang therapeutic communication. Go on. Sige po, nakikinig ako. Go on with your story po. I'm here to listen. Then what's next? Pati yung pag nod nyo na ganyan is also a therapeutic communication. Hindi yung kung saan-saan ka nakatingin, dapat tumingin ka ng diretso kung hindi naman masama sa kultura niya. And then you nudge. Okay, that means you are listening attentively. A, ask questions. Just a way of showing that you are interested and showing deep enthusiasm of clients' experiences and insights by exploring the essential details of the event. So you really have to ask questions because you are assessing the client's history at the same time. When you're asking questions, that means you are interested. Kaya nga minsan pagka nagpapatanong kayo sa isang discussion, nag-report kayo, gusto nyo may nagtatanong sa inyo. Unless na ayaw nyo talaga, natatakot kayo pagka mahirap yung tanong. Pero kapag ka isang kaibigan mo ay nagtatanong sa iyo, that means interesado siya, tuwan-tuwa ka naman. Kasi parang nakikita mo na ikaw lang ang focus niya at interesado ka sa issues niya. Okay, let them feel that. Okay, next slide po. Okay, yung RS naman sa ears, restate and reflect. Whenever they say something significant, you restate. Ito bang ibig mong sabihin? So I'm now talking about therapeutic communication. Ito bang ibig mong sabihin, Iha? Ito bang ibig sabihin, Ma'am? Okay, uulitin ko lang po yung sinabi nyo. So this is also reflecting and restating. Ito po ang pagkaunawa ko sa sinabi nyo. This is the way I understood it. So, does it mean na ganito po? Does it mean na ayaw nyo na magtrabaho? Does it mean na nasiraan na kayo ng loob? So you have to restate and reflect. That is a therapeutic way of conversing. And then S is summarize what you have discussed. Okay, summarize what you have discussed with the client, with the patients, or with the victim, and it will help a lot. So it will be the next, springboard to the next event na mag-uusap pa kayo ulit. So yung summarize nyo, tapos yung activities na gagawin mo. So these are all very important components of your psychological first aid. And E, next slide please. Wala na pala, tapos na yung acronym natin. Let's go to the third one, emotional aspects of listening. So active listening is very important. It can be a very powerful component of psychological support, as I said, but it's only effective as long as the listeners or the first aider accommodate what client says with how he feels with sense of respect. Yan. So kailangan nandun yung sense of respect while you're listening. Exhibit bracketing. Ano yung bracketing? You have to behold, yung preconceived idea mo about the client. Alam mo, galit na galit ka kasi ang tigas ng ulo nila. Dapat hindi na sila dapat naging biktima ng trahedya. Pero you put them in a bias, that is bracketing. Okay, yung preconceived ideas mo, wag mong isama sa pakikipag-usap. Although meron ka something in mind against the situation and against the person, you set aside that. It will not be helpful. So bracket yourself. So it will be very effective kapag straightforward ka sa issues. It is important to reach person's feeling of peace and calmness as much as you can before beginning the process. Okay, next please. Okay, this is the last slide. Cognitive aspects. Kung merong emotional aspect, meron ding cognitive aspects of listening. Okay, active listening is to have a mindset that will help you to focus intently on the speaker. One cannot listen effectively if one is silently thinking about personal concerns or preoccupied with other matters. This is what we say, cognitive aspect of listening. Yan. Kanina, emotional aspect of listening. Talagang feel na feel. Dapat mapapil mo. Ito naman sa cognitive aspect, kailangan yung mindset mo ay talagang nakafocus lang dun sa kausap mo. And mapipil yan ng client mo. Okay? Sabi nga, magpa-first aider ka. Mamayang konti, naisip mo, ano ang lulutuin ko mamayang tanghalian? Ano yung uwi ako mamaya, saan ako dadaan? Meron bang bilihan ng ulam dito? Sigurado gagabihin na ako. Saan ako bibili ng kanin? Anong kakainin namin ng mga kasama ko? Okay? Naku, hindi nagte-text yung boyfriend ko, hindi nagte-text yung girlfriend ko. Naku, ano nang gagawin? Mag-aaway na naman kami mamaya. So there are some preoccupations that will also drag you into out of focusing your concern with your client. So set aside that, Yan yung cognitive listening. So hindi basta nakikinig, kundi nakapokus ka. When a client is listened to intently, he becomes more open to you, to his experiences, and focuses on own challenges, resources, and perspective more realistically. So pag nakapokus kayong pareho, mas marami kayong mga achieve at marami kayong pwedeng mapag-usapan sa hinaharap. And it also be a cooperative effort or collaborative effort on your part. Naging successful ka sa psychological first aid mo at siya naman naging successful sa pag-open up because you are a very good listener. Okay, so these are all the fundamentals of psychological first aid I want to share with you in this particular discussion forum. Okay, thank you very much, and I hope you learned something from our discussion.
All right. A huge thank you to Dr. Alvarado for such a fruitful discussion. Your shared insights will definitely be kept in mind, and hopefully, all of us, students, will try to incorporate them into our daily lives. Once again, let us give our speaker a warm round of applause.
And now, to show you our deepest gratitude, may we call on Professor Bill Cabrera to present a token of appreciation to Dr. Jessie Joey Alvarado.
Good afternoon po, everyone. Good afternoon, students, and to all our viewers po sa ating YouTube and Zoom. So, New Year University College of Arts and Sciences presents this certificate of appreciation to Dr. Jessie Joey Alvarado in acknowledgement of his meritorious role as a guest speaker during the Mental Health Awareness Month 2022 seminar titled Psychological First Aid, a Guide for Students, held at the University Hall, NEU Main Campus, and live stream via Zoom and YouTube Live. Given this 18th of November 2022 at New Year University, Quezon City, Philippines, signed by Brother Julian J. Maimban III, our Vice President for Academic Affairs and Research, Brother Franklin T. Bunag, our Vice President for Administration, and Dr. Nilo L. Rosas, our University President. Thank you so much po, sir.
It's truly been a wonderful day full of new knowledge and joyous experience. We are happy that we are able to share with all of you here today and also with our viewers via Zoom and YouTube.
Absolutely. We would also like to recognize the hard work and efforts of those involved in the success of this program. Our most sincere appreciation to our CAS Dean, professors, the university management, and especially to our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Above all, we would like to thank our Almighty God for His endless love and support. All of these efforts are for the honor and glory of our Lord God and for the upholding of New Year University's selfless service to humanity.
With this in mind, to formally close the curtain for today's activity, we would like to humbly request Ka Genesis S. Cludia, Minister of the Gospel, for our closing remarks and prayer.
Pleasant day to all. On behalf of the Guidance and Counseling Center, I would like to express my gratitude to the church administration, the Board of Trustees, and the school administration for allowing this event to prosper. Would also like to extend my thanks to the College of Arts and Sciences, to the Dean, its faculty and student organizations, Sir Bill, and the team, for their dedication to carrying out their duties and to ensuring the success of this event. I would also like to extend our many thanks to our guest speaker, Sir Joey. Thank you po. Thank you very much for sharing with us his expertise on psychological first aid that our students really needed for their academic pursuits. In the book entitled Guide to Psychological First Aid, one of the co-author, Dr. George S. Everly Jr., an American psychologist, said, and I quote, "Everyone is a potential witness to catastrophe," end of quote. All of us are exposed to stressors. When we say stressors, this can be people, events, or situation that adds on to our stress. Sometimes stressors are overwhelming that they serves as agent for anyone to have a languishing mental health. One of the goal of the university is to help as many people as possible to gain and have expertise in skills that can figuratively stop the bleeding, at least temporarily, to help people to gain knowledge and skills in overcoming such events. It is also the aim of the university to help all the students not only to remain in their normality, but also to flourish and maintain a good and healthy mental health. But most of all, mga mahal po naming mag-aaral, ang pinakamagaling na pagpapayo na maaari po nating tanggapin para tayo ay magtagumpay sa kabila po ng iba't ibang balakid sa inyong pag-aaral ay ang mga salita ng Diyos na nakasulat po sa Biblia. Sa Galatia 5:22 hanggang 23 ay ganito po ang ating mababasa. Subalit ang bunga ng Espiritu ay pag-ibig, kagalakan, kapayapaan, pagtitiyaga, kabaitan, kabutihan, katapatan, kahinahunan, at pagpipigil sa sarili. So if we have these qualities, if we know how to love, then we surely will be able to have a genuine concern for our family, friends, and other people. If we have peace and resilience, or the ability to bounce back, if we have patience and self-control, then we can surely overcome all obstacles in life. With the additional knowledge that we received through our guest speaker, and with the qualities taught to us by the Bible, then we can surely achieve our academic success and maintain a healthy mental health. We are always united with the church administration and the school administration in fervently praying to God for your health and for your success. Thank you and good day to all. Before we formally conclude our activity for this day, we would like to invite everyone to please stand for our closing prayer. Panginoon naming Diyos, salamat po ng napakarami sa iyo, Ama. Sa pamamagitan po ng pagpapahintulot ng pamamahala, isinagawa po ng pamantasan ang ganitong aktibidad. Tumanggap po kami ng karagdagang kaalaman na sinasampalatayanan po naming makatutulong sa amin. Hindi lamang para magkaroon kami ng magandang kalusugang pangkaisipan, kundi higit sa lahat, magagamit po namin, Ama, upang kami ay magtagumpay sa aming mga paggawa sa pag-aaral ng mga estudyanteng naririto, higit sa lahat sa aming ginagawang mga paglilingkod sa iyo. Ama, magalang po naming ipinakikiusap, pakibasbasan mo po ang bawat isa sa amin. Ibiyaya po ang maraming pagtatagumpay, hindi lamang sa mga kabataang nagsisipag-aral. Ibiyaya po ang maraming pagtatagumpay sa pamantasan. Ito po ay sa kaluwalhatian ng iyong banal na pangalan. Pagpalain din po ang aming guest speaker na nagbahagi sa amin ng kanyang kaalaman. Patuloy mo siyang bihisan ng mga katangian at kaloob upang patuloy siyang pakinabangan ng pamantasan, patuloy na maging kaisang diwa ng pangasiwaan ng paaralan sa paghubog sa mga mag-aaral. Panginoon po naming Jesus, salamat po ng napakarami sa patnubay at pagtulong mo po sa amin. Mamalagi pong ikaw ang gumagabay sa iyong mga hinirang, dagdagan ng palataya, at lagi po kaming iugnay, ipamagitan sa ating Ama. Ama, higit sa amin ang tagapamahalang pangkalahatan, basbasan po ang kapatid na Eduardo Manalo. Dagdagan po ng buhay at lakas, ipagkaloob ang pinakamainam na kalusugan. Ingatan mo po siya at ang kanyang buong sambahayan, alang-alang sa kanyang patuloy na makapangyarihang pamamahala sa kabuuan po ng iyong bayan. Lubos kaming sumasampalataya, Ama, binasbasan mo po kaming lahat. Pinatawad mo po ang marami naming pagkakasala sa pangalan po ng aming Panginoong Jesus. Amen.
Yan, thank you so much po, Ka-Genesis, for that. Finally, to our audiences via online, wag po muna tayo mag-leave for photo capturing and documentation. Same din po sa ating mga audience dito sa University Hall. Thank you once again, everyone. It's our pleasure to be your host for today. Louis Robles.
And I am Marian Faye Munoz. Goodbye and have a great day ahead.
And let us all stand up po for photo capturing and documentation. Ano po tayo? Ang tawag doon? Compress po tayo lahat sa middle.